Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our fifth session of our virtual workshops. We all know Mr. Seraj Ghazal. He is the General Manager of Digital Print Center, and today he will be talking to us about marketing communications.
Thank you, Faye. Good morning, guys. I'll discuss today part of marketing communication, because marketing communication is very wide and it has a lot of academic studies and a lot of books about it. We'll start with with 6 elements of marketing. The contents of today's presentation will be definition of marketing, concept of marketing communication communication objectives. We need to identify that, process of communication and marketing, and integrated marketing communication, which we call it IMC, and effectiveness of marketing communication. Now, there's so much definitions of marketing. What do we mean about marketing? There is hundreds of marketing definitions. Well, I choose what Mr. Philip Kotler say. Philip Kotler, he's now 88 years old. He's the father of marketing definitions and communications. He has over than 60 books, and he's the head distinguished professor in Northwestern University. And he defined marketing as the science and art of exploring, creating, and delivering value to satisfy the needs of a target market and at a profit. Marketing identifies and fulfills the needs and desires. Another definition, which I like also, it's made by AMA, which is the American Marketing Association. They define it that marketing is a performance of a business, actives that direct the flow of goods and services from producer to consumer or users. So what we understand from marketing, it's actually needs that we need to meet in a profitable way. That's in a few words. Everyone can define it separately, but it all goes around the same 3 words. Now, the concept of marketing, which we need also to identify. Marketers over the world before, they used to identify marketing concept as very narrowly. It's limited to certain communication channels. Through the past, it was limited only to advertising. And guys, advertising is not marketing. Advertising is one of the marketing channels. It's a very wide channel. It has so many sub-channels inside it, but it's not the marketing. Because in the past, the communication was only through certain items, which is through TV, newspaper, some brand communications, product advantage, and some radios, whatever it was available at that time. Now the digital revolution is changing everything, and very fast. We are not longer using only the traditional marketing, which we see here. Even before, it was sort of salesmanship. People goes only through a salesmanship marketing, when you sit in front of people and do one person to a few people and trying to make a sales for them for a product. Now, the meaning of marketing communication. Now, we need to know that the consumers are different now. They are no longer passives. We feel it. We know it. We are consumers ourselves. The consumer now are informed. They can buy themselves. They can recommend even to other consumers. They can criticize the brand, the service, or the product that we are marketing for. They can get together with other consumers and make like their judgment or evaluation of any service you do for them. And even literally, they can kill a communication of product and reputation of a brand if they just don't like it. We have this kind of consumers now. It's not like before they are just a receiver. They are educated. Now consumers, they have the power and they want to participate and interact. That's the challenge that most of the marketing agencies they have right now. With AI or artificial intelligence and the social marketing happening, social media happening all over the world. Now, it's not enough to have a good product. You have to connect the consumer with the product. And that goes through experience. Experience means you have to add something to their lives, something they're doing every day or every few days, something they mean to them, something they felt it themselves. And we have to make the relationship between the brand or the service, and shouldn't be only functional, it should be emotional. It's very important to create that emotional feelings or connections between the service and the consumer. And that part of marketing managers' work or scope of work. Again, everything is digital right now, so this is changing every day. And the approach of the consumer, even with the marketing manager, is changing every day. That's why every time we have events or concept we need to market for it, we have to make something new, something different to be updated and to focus on what's really important and deliver the right message. I have some videos. I will just share it directly. I will not mention every time when I have a video, so you will be not cut with the ideas. This is for Steve Jobs. So as you see, guys, it's not only, we need always to think about what is the right, we need to approach the right approach for when you have any marketing plan. The consumer is the person who we need to, the consumer targets and segmentation that we need to approach. It's not the product itself. Whatever the product we have, with good marketing channels, marketing approach, knowing the needs of the customers, we can immediately make it easy. And many brands came out of nowhere just because of customer needs. For example, Coca-Cola has been there for decades, but Coca-Cola Zero came for special needs for certain clients. Now we need to identify, we know what is marketing communications, we identify it, the concept, the meanings, but we know to know whenever we do any plan, we start with the objectives. And marketing communication is long-term goals. It can be implemented in a short term and a long term, but as it goes, we need to set it up for long term. Whenever you have clients who want to make a marketing plan for his brand or his services, you need to make 1 year plan, 2 years plan. Even some companies, global companies, make 10 years plan with quarterly enhancement and changes and analysis. So there's so many types and models of identifying the objectives of market communication. Which I choose for you, it's the AIDA. AIDA stands for awareness, interest, desire, and action. And that's how the right approach will be for any marketing plan to be done. Awareness. We need to attract the consumers. We need to get their attention. They let them aware about this brand or service or product. How we do that? Through marketing communications, channels. And this awareness, that's why you see a lot of companies do awareness campaign. And we all heard about awareness campaign, brand awareness campaign. Why they do that? We know now where they are going to. It's just not to know that this is our logo and that's it. No, what's behind the logo, what's behind this company. Then that awareness will catch the interest of consumers, of a certain segment of consumers, certain community of consumers. When they are interested, some of these people who's interested, they will go to the next step, to desire. Okay, I want that one. I want to try this. I will tell my friend to try this. And then the next part will be the action, which everyone wants to reach to this point. That's why it's upside down pyramids, because it goes to big segments and whoever will do the action is not all of them. But we already reach to so many people. The interest is smaller, the desire is smaller, but there is people doing the action. And as a plan, we need to wide or flip this pyramid upside down in the future and make the A is the one which is wider. That's the target of any company. Now, today, again, marketing, developing a product, as I said before, is not enough. That's why we need to know the process of marketing communication. How we do that is pricing a product also is not only a solution. There's so many competitors in the market. And not only having the right customers and the current customers, we have to look for the potential consumers. That's why awareness is big. Not only the segment that we need, everybody should know about this brand. Everybody should know about, be aware about this service. It exists, it's there. And with the communication that's happening now, more companies are trying to get at and grab the attention of the consumers, try to steal consumers from other loyal consumers for other brands. It's really cluttered environment and it's difficult to grab consumers. So what we say, what we are saying here, what is the question? The question is what to say, how to say it, to whom to say it, and how often to say it. Is it enough to say one-time campaign and that's it? Or no, that segment needs so many campaigns, oftenly, repetition. For example, we're doing now social media for digital, and the plan is to repeat it as much as possible to grab the attention of consumers. Because that target segmentation, the clients there, they're seeing a lot of hundreds of advertisements. We are as consumers, when you open your social media, you see a lot of advertisement every day. How can I grab your attention? I can drive it only when I make so many repetitions. And that's when you start with the marketing process. And to elaborate more on the marketing process, there's 5 components of marketing process. I make it in an easier way. This is how we do, if each company do their marketing plan. The sender, the source, which is the client, will give the idea or the concept or the service. Then the marketing managers jump in and start to encode that message and try to make it as a plan. Identify the objectives of it, identify the target audience for it, identify the goals for it, and then start to choose the right channel. Which marketing tool we need to use? Is it advertising? Is it not advertising? If it's advertising, is it through social media? Is it through brand placement? Is it through movies, through videos? There's hundreds of channels to use. And then they need to decode that to the recipients. Now, the recipients, he will decode it himself. Because when you see something in the street or when you see an ad, every one of us might see it in a different way. That's why there's always a debates. When you see an advertisement and you say, okay, what does it mean? You might evaluate it good, you might evaluate it bad, you might like it, you might understand it in a way that every other person can understand it. And the reason why, experience, as we mentioned before. Everyone decodes a brand or a message from a marketing plan based on his own experience. What he understands from the message is based on his experience. After that, the best and the most important part of the marketing plan or process is the feedback. Always should be a feedback to analyze it, to check and advise our client. Did we reach what we want? Did we reach the target that we want, that we put? Did we reach the audience that we put? If not, it means we go back and you see the noise up there is when we shake it again and try to change the channel. Maybe social media is not good. Maybe it should be salesmanship. Maybe it should be promotions. So it depends on the feedback of the recipients or from the consumers. We can know which channel we can use or if we succeeded or not. Now, there's so many types of marketing communication, and the best one and the most trend that's been used by most of the global and local companies is the IMC, Integrated Marketing Communication. It's very important, and with the global competition, it's so good and elaborate more and give us direct results and so much information about marketing communications. Again, as Mr. Philip Kotler said and define it, integrated marketing communication is a way of looking at the whole marketing process from the viewpoint of the consumer. Everything is about the point of view of consumers. We need to think the consumer, then we think about how we reach there from the product, from the pricing, from the strategy, and do the plan based on the consumer themselves. Now, how we do that? There is so many tools. The tools of marketing communications are these, not limited to these. Promotions, personal selling, direct marketing, mobile apps, social media, public relation, sponsorship, and advertising. All of this, not only advertising, can help us do the marketing plan. And to do this, we need to choose, as marketing manager, you always need to choose which one fits this target audience. If they are in an area where, let's say in a country where the internet is slow, you will not go for social media, you will not go for mobile apps. You go for self-promotions. You go to direct marketing, personal marketing. And who has all of these services? Dallah Holding Media. We have all of this in-house. Everything we do, we have it in-house. Even public relation, we do it through the advertising. So we have the power of marketing communication channels. We are a marketing communications group, not only advertising, print link. Separately, yes, we are. But together, we are a big marketing communication agency. Now, communications, it's the basis of every marketing. And Philip Kotler is the creator of marketing mix, which is the 4Ps. 4Ps is another way to show you how the marketing plan can be put. Start with the product, price, place, and then the promotion. What is the product? What is the quality? What is the value? What is the service we do? What is the difference in this product? This is how they need to analyze as a marketing manager. Then the price it. There's a full document, an academic document about pricing strategy. It's not just something, okay, let's price it this way. Analyze the competitors, the similar products, the price of it. What is the difference? What is the leverage in this price? Then the place, how we want to place this. What is the channel we want to use it? Is it placement in a movie? Is it hoardings in the streets? Is it through many channels we have in marketing communications as a place channels? Then the promotion itself, we need to identify it. Advertising, public relation, again, direct marketing, indirect marketing. There's so many ways, but this is the 4 steps that we need to follow in order to do the plan and understand what do we have in hand. This should be comes from the source, as an idea, as the product only. And the rest we should do as marketing managers. Now, the marketing communications is the communication, the purpose of IMC, of all integrated marketing communications. And it's always targeted to focused customers, focused on marketing segments. You just don't go and put it on the air and that's it. No, that's why we need to identify who's that target audience. It's only focused markets that IMC work for. Now, to make it effective, managers should characterize the audience, should make sure that they are engaged by message, by media. And the only way to connect with them, or the best way to connect with audience, is to graffiti them, make them laugh, love, or think, and inspire them about this. Sometimes you are just not aware of this brand or aware of this brand or service, but you just have no experience with it. You have no personal experience with it, no emotion to it. So with emotions or with experience, a brand can do it. Just like individuals, if you want to invite a friend for an experience, enjoy good moments. For example, most of us, if not all of us, have a karak for sure somewhere in Doha before. Imagine now, especially these days, you might say, I missed going in the car with my certain friend, drive to the Corniche, and have that karak from that certain place. That's an experience. That's emotions. And other people, they will just look at it. I just miss karak. I'll go get it anywhere I want. They don't have the emotions. They have the logic. They have the needs of karak. That's it. Now, I'll give you an example, which is how we analyze or receive recipients each brand or service. For example, there's so many global logos here, international companies, even though it doesn't mean that the recipients will receive it exactly the same. McDonald's, for example. McDonald's if you love McDonald's, you say, Big Mac, their brand. Everybody knows Big Mac. But even if you know Big Mac and you're a healthy person, you say, no, it's a junk food. I don't like McDonald's. Starbucks, it's a coffee maker. I'll tell you a small story about Starbucks. Starbucks, a few years back, they have changed their CEO. They bring someone new, someone fresh, and they wanted to make changes in Starbucks. So what he wanted to make more sales. He didn't look to the consumers. He looked to the profitability only. Why we should look to the consumers in a profitable way. So he had hot sandwiches in Starbucks cafes. And when you enter Starbucks cafes, you can find all kinds of sandwiches, hot sandwiches, cold sandwiches, so many sandwiches in Starbucks. And then the sales start to drop down. In 6 months, the sales of Starbucks globally went down 25 to 30%. And we're talking about millions and millions of dollars. So the board members, they get panics and they call the previous CEO on board again. And what he did, he went and get the feedback. He went to analyze what's happening. He went on the market and made a survey from Starbucks loyal consumers. And he started to ask frequent questions. And then he came up with the right, and he found that 80 to 86% of these consumers have the same answer. When we go to Starbucks, we don't smell coffee, we smell food. So they are not a coffee maker anymore. They lost that part of loyalty. They lost that part of advantage they have, the product advantage. At the same time, the next day, the former CEO who came, again, new CEO, he stopped all kinds of sandwiches, all kinds of food, hot sandwiches, and made sure that the smell of coffee is there in all their shops. And the sales came up more than how it was before, because they made the efforts and their consumer appreciated the effort that they did in order to bring it back how it was. Now, in integrated marketing communications, brands or service is must. That's why as a companies we always work in our brands. It's very important to work in brands loyalty. As we said in Starbucks, they have the loyal clients. And there's 3 kinds of brand loyalty. So as you see, companies spend a lot on their brands and spend a lot to have loyalty consumers, because for them, you might spend a lot of money on consumers to make your brand, to make them brand loyal. But that's then in the later stage will save a lot of your money if you make small mistakes. They will forgive you. They love your brand. They don't care. If you're a small brand, they will never forgive you of this. And as we said about marketing communication, IMC, and we're talking about brand loyalty, there's 3 types of brand loyalty. And these three types are, it's all about the involvement. Is it rational? Is it emotional involvement? Is it functional choice? It's ego involved choice. And that's take us to three brand loyalty meaning types, which is the head, hands, and heart. The more rational involvement, have thinking with functional choices, you analyze, you choose, you know why you're choosing, it's the head. The heart one is emotional, is the brand, they call them the fire loyal consumers, because they love that brand no matter what will happen. Now, to start with the head loyalty, it requires a long rational involvement. It's something justified itself. It's something you know why you're taking this. Not because you like it only, but because there's statistics, because there's rational statements about it. As we said about Volvo, it's safety. Even if I don't like to buy Volvo myself, but I know it's the safest cars. That's how they work in it. It's very simple and it's easy, very easy. Now, for heart loyalty, it's a lot of involvement of emotions, and for particular brand, which is, for example, iPhone. We have most of the people are iPhone lovers. You wait iPhones for the next generation, even if it costs a lot of money. Even if you sit with someone and you have a newer iPhone, you want to show off. Remember the ego involvement, we say. If someone has X type of mobile, I tell him, what's your phone? I have the new iPhone. It's much better. Without knowing what is the functions of the other phone. It might have functions better than iPhone, but you still love your iPhone. No matter what will happen with Apple or iPhone, you will love yours. Same as Land Cruiser in these countries, in GCC. Land Cruiser is the love of most of the people here, because it has rational behind it, but they love it. It's emotional. They like it. Even if he has 10 cars, he should have a Land Cruiser. Now, the hand loyalty does not require any involvement. You know, it's like you're walking a Carrefour or in a shopping mall and you want to buy toothpaste. You go on the shelves and you know which one. It happens for most of us. It's that simple. That's the hand loyalty. And to be honest, companies or marketing companies, they have a challenge in changing head and especially heart loyal consumers. The hand consumers and loyalty consumers are the easiest one to change. You need to change them either to heart with experience and emotions and put them in an emotional experience with a brand, or head to make advertisement or any channel showing them why they have to choose. We see so many ads before for toothpaste, example, that you have a medical doctor, famous doctor, pharmacist advertising and advising people to use this kind of brand. You might immediately, when you listen to them, if you trust these people, you move from hand to head. Once you try, once you experience it, if you like it, then you go to be a heart, or we call them fire loyal consumers. Now, the effectiveness, to make sure that we understand all the marketing communication, we need to test, is it effective? How the effectiveness of this communication to be. The marketers need to be always up to date to make sure they're involved in all the changes happening in the market, make sure that consumers are really oriented in the right way. And the change is really fast to do all of this. Branding is an essential component of marketing strategy, and it's a professionalized approach. It's taken promotion products and services to the next level. There is so many types of effectiveness of marketing communication. I choose so many channels of it. I choose best three I saw, three videos, short videos, and each one of them, it has different emotional approach. Meaning, when you say about head or heart or hands, each one of them has also sub-channels inside it. Emotional has so many feelings, has 11 feelings of emotional or heart loyal involvement consumers, how you turn it on. So if you see such a video, if you are a lover of soft drinks, but you're just, hand loyal to anybody, you like 7-Up, Cokes, Pepsi, XX, Mountain, you're not just like following one. If you felt that experience, if you were one of these students, do you believe that any of these students will take another soft drink rather than Coke? It's emotional, it stirs them, it makes them happy, and they experience it themselves. And this is part of one of the effective marketing communications was called happiness. Now there is another one. We practice the first one, which is happiness, but also emotional can be fear. Fear, it's, do you think all of this, they don't like the screen? They like the TV. But this marketers who came up with this an idea for LG, they wanted to test it. They want to make the client, the consumers feel it. They want them to experience the fear of having such a thing. The last one I want to share with is another type of emotional communication, which is Nescafe. This is called relationships experience or emotional effective marketing communication. I believe the last three videos show us that there is so many kinds of approach that we need to approach our consumers, our clients, our consumers and customers to make them feel and experience marketing communications or the brands. So again, to summarize marketing communication, it's a need that we need to meet for certain consumers, but the best approach is to let them feel it in an emotional and experience way. Thank you so much. Now I'll be ready for any questions if you have. Omar, he asked, how would you recommend competing with a company which already has greater customer loyalty than your company? Good question. Now, as I said, IMC is always focused on focused group markets. So let's say, as I mentioned, you have PepsiCo, Coke, 7-Up, okay? And you're a new brand. I'll give you a better example. There is a beer in South Africa. It's local beer. It's been there for more than 40 years. And the consumption of them is 40% of their population, all right? And they decided to want to expand it. They want to be popular for almost 80% and plus for their population. What they did, they made something called community. So everyone, they found what is their target audience? People, normal people, football players, what they are famous for, football players, football match. They are one of the biggest fans who like football there. So they went and they always, if you are a football fan, you might criticize the coach, you might criticize the player, you might criticize the referee. No one is happy with whatever the coach does. You might be happy, your friend might not be happy for the same act. So what they did, and I'll share this video with you guys later if you want, they made the fans the coach. They made a football cup with their name. I forget the name of the beer. They made the football cup with their name. For example, you have like we have now total tournaments, right, for tennis. They have a football cup for them with the local teams, with the big prizes. And what they did, they make the fans the coaches with texting. At that time, there was not so much smartphones. Again, analyze the markets, the consumers. Do they all have smartphone? No. So just normal text. 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. You choose your own players. And the voting all over the fans, they choose their, for example, 80% this player, whoever been chosen, they become the players. And they are the one who putting the plan A, B, C, D. They are the one who choose the coach for the team. So they make them experience, leave it, and the other fans start to like it. If you are not a fan of a beer, you need to participate. So how you do it? It's a nice experience. You need to buy 1 beer, and you have the number on the top of it, and you take and get enroll in that participation. The phase 2 they make them even, again, we said it's a long term. After they started was very successful tournaments. It's even one of the biggest tournaments they have in football there in South Africa because of the participation of people. Then they found out that the fans need more. What they did, they want to change people during the match. Don't change this attacker, change this defender. So they give them the privilege after 1 year to make the changes during the match working even. And that's all in that texting method. So there is so many ways of elaborating your brand to compete. Even they were 40%, now they're almost than 76%. They increased their target of 80, but they are 76%. And imagine how much they earn because of that. You are marketing representative company, as you said, okay, but what is the enough? What is too much in terms of imagining beneficial to the brand? Great. This is one of the studies that I study also when you stop. And as I said, the right question is when, to whom, how, and the most important is how often. You cannot, that's why you need to set the target, Sunny. If you say my target is 80, you need to keep working to reach 80. You didn't come for 80 just like that. Does the market take over that you can take 80% of it? Might the market be small? You cannot take. There's another competitors. Plus, at the same time, if the market takes 80%, you need to keep working and change and analyze. That's why the feedback is always more important. That's why the tracking is more important. You start, you see how much this help you, then you go to the next phase. You change the channel. No, the channel is correct. The channel is moving up. You keep the same channel. And when you reach to your target, you said enough, you stop and you analyze. You don't burn your brand. For example, they tried it in China, one of their leagues, and when you not in China, yeah, one of the not leagues in the Transformer 4, that was criticized of most of the brands because you can see a lot of Chinese brand in one screenshot. That's called movie placements of a brand, and you can see in one photo like 10 brands. That's overusing. You don't use that. If you want to compete and get segment of target segments from the market, that's just throwing brand. But to get more target segmentation, you need to work slowly and you need to work separately and to analyze who's your competitors, what they are doing. This is also very important. What's their benefits, what their advantages, how you can compete them. That's all part of the planning by after setting the objectives. The most important element in marketing is the feedback. That's not only my opinion. In all academic opinions is the feedback, analyzing. There is no, talking about this so far, you asked these questions. I had some videos from biggest global agencies in the world, starting from Ogilvy, Saatchi and all of this. And they said even in advertising, analyzing is always, it should be through the whole way. Start from brainstorming, from implementation, execution. There's always analyzing step by step before you throw the brand or the communication tools in the market. And even after, you need to keep analyze that to make sure you're not burning your brand, you're not burning your service, and you're on the right track, and you're getting to your goals and objectives.
Just a question, in your experience, what was the common problem and mistakes you mostly encounter in your ideal customers and how did you solve it?
The most ideal is taking them for granted. Your customer cannot be for granted, cannot be taken for granted. Even if whatever you have, we've seen companies, they have a contract with X marketing companies and they cancel it and look for someone else. You need to keep the efforts, keep them updated, as we said, keep them up to with the digital innovations, evolution. You need to keep them always updated. As a marketing company, you should not just take them for granted and give them, that's the plan and that's it. To solve, and to know if there is a problem, again, we're back to the same subject, is analysis and feedback. How you will know even there's a problem? You know that from their feedback. You know that if you're tracking them step by step. That's why, for example, we have account managers. They are for this brand, for these clients. They're always in contact with, they always visit these clients and make sure they are happy with the service that we do. We cannot just leave it to them and that's it. That's how other companies lose their clients. And one of the things, let's say in digital, we say that we are different from the other printing companies, that we work 24 hours 7, we are on call basis, and our service is different. We are not cheapest in the market, but we are the best in service. And quality, of course, the product, that's something which is rational, it's something should be mandatory, the product quality, but the service is more important. What is the difference between product focused marketing and client focused marketing? Okay, it's a big difference, Salim. When you focus on the product marketing, that's what was said by Steve Jobs. He could bring engineers to do his marketing plan and think about how to make the phones the best phone ever. Or thinking marketing, consumers, how they will understand that phone, how they will love that phone. That's why if you check with the rhythm of mobile phone or smartphone, sometimes it was very up iPhones for a long time. Then Samsung came and they give some consumer big part of the consumers of smartphones because they give, for example, free apps, not like iPhones. That didn't change the fire or the heart loyal brands for iPhones. They changed the hand one. They changed the head ones, the rational. Why I will take iPhone and I can take cheaper phone and same services, for example. Okay, question, Sunny. We are categorized as external marketing pool of clients and they have their own marketing team. How we can get along with them to achieve great relationship without marketing communication. Easy. As you said, most of our clients, they are either call themselves departments, communications, marketing, PR. So they are should be the one who guiding us. So in that case, when you have the team of marketing communication in, for example, on Spring Committee, they have the plan. They know who's their target audience. But what we can give them, we can give them our experience also as a marketing people to choose which channel. Do they need experiential marketing for this channel? Do they need the placement and advertisement? We can advise clients. At the end of the day, we are not a decision maker. The marketing team or the PR team or the clients, they are the decision maker. Our experience, and this is something also I hear from many clients, that they like us to be there as an expert to be advisors. We are not just the deliverers. We are not just the doers. Can you do me this campaign? Okay, thank you. No. If you go to most of the tenders that come into SDI, for example, there's thinking behind it. There's brainstorming. That's why we do a lot of brainstorming. How would the best approach to be? How to do that activations? Do we need activations? Do we need more activations? So they put the target, but we need to implement that and make sure that follow their objectives and goals. That's very important. Clients, that's why in your brief, in the advertising, you have the objectives and what is the goals. Sherwin, how is our brand, the AD doing compared to our clients, compared to competitors? I mean, okay, it's easy to know that. Go back to the history, Sherwin, and see where we were and how we are now. How the advertising was before and how's the advertising now. And you can measure that by the number of contracts you have, the number of retainers you have, the number of events you're getting, the number of jobs that you have, and your reputation in market. That's the reason why you have these. If you had before, for example, in digital, we have 2 contracts, now we have 7 contracts. Just an example. In Dallah, I know you had 1 retainer fees. How many retainer fees you have now? Means the clients like your work, and you're delivering, especially like big events like the QFA, the last Club World Cups, and AGC. Who delivered? The advertising. And your advertisements were all over the country. So these things, it's measurable. It cannot be. We cannot say we are good or we are not good ourselves. No, we can. We need to measure it. If our client, would you be a hand, heart, or head? You go, Dallah. That's also for, that's from Jasper. Nice question. See, there is no product or service or company can be one. Can have one client. 3 of them. Some people work with you because you're located in Royal Plaza and they are neighbors, just coming to you. It's the hand. Some of them, they come to you because their friends told them you're good. You have 3D designs, you have 2D designs, you have creative director, you have, the rationale behind it is there. They analyze, okay, this is the fit for me. It's a fit company for me. Some of them is loyal, as we said, that works for us for 10 or decades. So there is no one has, no product or service has everything. Has one thing, sorry. Should have 3 of them. Because if it doesn't have the hand, how you'll expand your market in the future? You got all the market.